Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back to the channel. In this one today, we're going to be doing another top 5 zombies video. In this one, it's going to be the top 5 most underrated weapons in COD Zombies history. Now, when we talk about underrated weapons, it's mainly going to be one of two things. One, it's going to be weapons that people don't really know about. They're not really talked about that often, but they're actually really good and solid whenever you're playing on zombies. Or two, weapons that they know about them, but they really hate these weapons when in reality, they're actually not that bad. So, with all that out of the way let's just jump right into it. Now, coming in at our number 5 spot, this is going to be going to the MTAR. Now, the MTAR all around is a really solid gun in zombies, and especially when it comes to Black Ops 2 as well, where most of the guns are either going to be really good or really bad. The MTAR is kind of that outlier that kind of sits a little bit in the middle. It's really good in terms of damage, gets you a lot of points, really good in terms of ammo as well, but nobody uses the MTAR compared to other weapons in Black Ops 2, especially when it comes to the ARs as well. There's just so many better options like the Galil or the AN-94. Both of those are two really solid ARs that are going to be a lot better than the MTAR, and it kind of just comes down to the ease of use with this weapon. It does have a lot of recoil that is a little bit annoying to control. Overall, though, it still is really solid. I know a lot of people like to hate on this weapon. A lot of people don't even like to use this weapon or think that it even exists, when in reality it is actually a very solid weapon when it comes to just zombies in general. And when it comes to Black Ops 2 as well, like I said, it is that middle of the row weapon that a lot of people just kind of ignore. And another thing I do like about this weapon is that when you pack a punch it does get a bonus attachment for the magazine, which does help a lot in terms of ammo. Really solid when compared to other weapons in Black Ops 2. Unfortunately, in terms of ARs in Black Ops 2, there's just a lot better options, so I can't really put it high as like a top 10 best weapon of all time, but it still is really underrated, especially compared to most other weapons in Black Ops 2. Most people don't really talk about the MTAR, so for that, we're definitely going to be putting it at our number 5 spot. Now, coming in at our number 4 spot, this is going to be going to another Black Ops 2 weapon that is really underrated, that kind of sits in that same middle area that the MTAR sits in when it comes to not being super good, but also not being that bad either. This is the dual wield 5.7s. Now, this gun is actually really solid, and there is a wall buy for it for the individual 5.7 pistol on Origins that you can buy. It's okay. Personally, I like the dual wield version a lot more. You can deal a lot more damage because obviously you have 2 of the pistols. You hold a little bit more ammo as well, and if you do get dead shot, it actually is really accurate as well. Now, like I said, you do need Deadshot with these weapons. You have to be playing on Origins and get these with Deadshot. If you don't, it's kind of a little bit annoying with the hipfire accuracy. You do have to be pretty close in order to get those kills, so it can be a little bit annoying in terms of that. Overall, I would still say it is a very strong weapon, very solid compared to most other pistols in Black Ops 2. Again, it sits in that middle area where it's not the best in terms of pistols, but it's not the worst either. And a lot of people kind of like to chuck it aside because it's not the worst and it's not the best, so a lot of people just kind of forget about it. But it is actually a really solid weapon, especially compared to most other guns in Black Ops 2 as well. It is a pistol, so you can run around really quickly with this. Really good in terms of ease of use. Overall, a really solid weapon in general. Again, not going to be like a top 10 of all time, but definitely underrated. So for that, it's going to be coming in at our number 4 spot. Now, coming in at our number 3 spot, this is going to be going to the 48 Dredge. Now, the 48 Dredge, as just a gun by itself, is actually really good, and I do like it a lot. The problem is that when you think of other LMGs in Black Ops 3, you're mainly going to think about the Dingo, the MG08, the BRM, the RPK. You're never going to think or use the 48 Dredge in any scenario, so a lot of people like to skip over it. But in terms of damage, it is actually really solid, really good when it comes to damage and ammo. In terms of ease of use, I think that's its only drawback. It does take a while to reload the weapon, and it is a burst fire weapon, so you do have to constantly keep that in mind. You have to constantly be pulling the trigger. You can't just hold it down like most other LMGs. But in terms of just raw stats, in terms of damage and in terms of ammo, it is better than most LMGs in Black Ops 3. It has a lot more ammo than most of the other LMGs, and it deals a lot more damage as well. The only problem, like I said, is that it's really underrated because of the ease of use factor. But when you look at other LMGs like the Gorgon, the ease of use isn't really that good either. I'd like the 48 Dredge more though, because it is actually really good in terms of the ammo compared to the Gorgon, and I don't really like the slow fire rates with the Gorgon compared to the faster fire rates with the 48 Dredge. Overall, the 48 Dredge compared to most other guns in Black Ops 3 is actually really good, and it can carry you into the higher rounds. Unfortunately, it's just not as good as those other LMGs in terms of ease of use, so I definitely have to put it at our number 3 spot. Now, coming in at our number 2 spot, this is going to be going to the Bootlegger. Now, the Bootlegger, in terms of just a normal gun, it is really good. I love the mobility with this weapon. I love the way that it looks. It fits in well with Shadows of Evil. I think that's its big thing when it comes to using this weapon. It's like the gun when you think of Shadows of Evil. It's really, really popular in terms of that. The problem is that not many people use it compared to other guns and other SMGs in Black Ops 3, mainly because of the expensive wall buy that's on every single map when you use this weapon. Treyarch trolled us on the Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles Verrucht because in the original World at War Verrucht, you had this hidden door that you could pay thousands of points to buy, and then you get a deployable bar, which was just a little bit of a troll because the bar was super expensive and the door was also really, really expensive. So not many people bought it. It was just a big troll from Treyarch's point of end, and they did the same thing in the Zombies Chronicles version, but instead of the bar, it was the Bootlegger, and it just made it a lot worse in terms of just using this gun because not many people like spending thousands of points on a gun that's kind of just mediocre. Again, the Bootlegger itself is actually a decent weapon. It just sucks that on Shadows of Evil and Verrucht especially, the gun just costs thousands and thousands of points, which just doesn't make it viable to buy this weapon. So for that, I definitely have to put it at our number 2 spot. Now, coming in at our number 1 spot, this is going to be going to the Micro MG from Black Ops 4. Now, I'm putting this one on the list because not many people know about the Micro MG. A lot of people didn't stick around for the Black Ops 4 ending season, so they didn't really see most of the weapons that were released. And to be fair, I mean, there wasn't really much for zombies in general, but the one good thing that came out of the end of Black Ops 4 was this weapon, and it's actually really, really good. It is one of my favorite weapons. I recently just found out about it. In terms of normal guns in Black Ops 4, it is actually really, really solid. Not the best in terms of damage. In terms of damage, there's a lot better guns out there to run in Black Ops 4, but in terms of ammo, in terms of point generation, and in terms of fire rate, you can still do a lot of damage, make a lot of points, and you can always rely on the high ammo to keep you into the later rounds as well. It is really solid compared to most other weapons in zombies, in my opinion. Like I said before, I love the feel and the way that this weapon just looks in general. The only other complaint that I have with this weapon is the accessibility and the ease of use to some extent. It is a box weapon, so you can't just buy ammo off the wall with this gun, which is a little bit annoying. But when it comes to the ease of use, it is annoying to some extent. If you don't have any attachments on this weapon, it can be really hard to use. But if you do get the max laser sights, I find it to be really easy to use and actually very, very accurate. Overall, I would say this is definitely an underrated weapon in Black Ops 4. Not even because it's bad or people think it's really bad, but just because not a lot of people know that this weapon even exists. So for that, I definitely have to put it at our number 1 spot. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up this video for today. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, do all that. Leave your comments down below if you want to see me do any other type of videos. Check out the Comfy Cushion Reacts channel. It's a channel me and my friends do. We just react to stuff, so definitely go over there, check that out. Give us all the support that we can get. And yeah, I got nothing much else to say, so peace.